Hey everybody, Hake Hardware here, and in this video we are going to go over how to prepare a micro SD card in Windows. And this is specifically if you are going to be using, let's say you have like a single board controller and you're using a micro SD card to install an operating system on like eMMC storage. So there's a few things that you're going to want to do to prepare your micro SD card. Some of this stuff might be overkill, but these are the steps that I like to take just to make sure that there's no issues with the SD card. So I have a guide here. I'm in the wiki, and this will be linked in the description of the video. And we're going to start by cleaning and partitioning the micro SD card. And this is actually, what you're seeing here is a virtual machine with Windows, and I've passed through the micro SD card in Proxmox, and I've been having issues with it, so you might see I might not be able to go through all the steps, but it's a pretty straightforward process, so I'll try and get through as much as I can. I still haven't quite figured out what's going on with the USB pass-through. But you do need a way to insert the SD card into the computer, and you do need an SD card, of course. So uh, if you don't have one, I have some affiliate links here. You don't have to click them. You can just, use Amazon and search for them. But if you want to support this channel and support this wiki and motivate me to make more and more videos, then feel free to click these links. Even if you don't purchase something, I think there's like kind of like tracks that you use my affiliate link, and if you buy something in the next couple days, I get a small commission. I'm definitely not getting rich off this stuff, but it does support the channel. So let's get the micro SD card inserted, and then we're going to go ahead and get it wiped. So I like to use Diskpart. You could also use disk management, at least for the identification of the micro SD card. Some of these micro SD cards are getting pretty big, so when you're looking at it in Diskpart, it might not be obvious which one is the micro SD card and which one is your operating system. So we're just going to right click on this Windows Start menu, and then we're going to go Terminal Admin. We want the admin one. You'll just click Yes. And once that pops up, you can just do Disk Part. And then to see all the available disks, you can do List Disk. And we can see I have two disks here, 0 and 1. 0 is going to be my operating system, 128 gigabytes. Again, this is just a virtual machine. And then disk 0 is 128 gigabytes, disk 1 is 119 gigabytes. That is the SD card. So typically if like you have a 128 gigabyte SD card, it's going to show a little bit less in Diskpart, so just keep that in mind. And we'll just minimize that for a second and we'll scroll down. Okay, so we've done Diskpart and then list disk, and then this image obviously is a different SD card. But what we're going to want to do is clean this card out. And if you're not sure which one it is, the easiest way to figure it out is to just disconnect the SD card, run list disk, whichever one disappears is going to be your SD card, plug it back in, and then you know which one it is. But you could also use disk management. So if I right click here, go into disk management, your operating and these disk 0, disk 1, that's the same as what you see in Diskpart. When we do list disk, you see disk 0 and disk 1. We can see that this NTFS BitLocker encrypted with a boot, page file, crash dump, basic data partition, that's going to be the operating system. And then this is like what it looks like kind of when you've partitioned, or not partitioned, I guess it is partitioned, but when you've created the install drive for like an operating system that you're going to be putting on the eMMC storage. So you can see clearly here disk 0 is my operating system. So we don't want to select that because we're going to be wiping this. And I'm sure there's probably like a protection in place, but it's best not to test that. So we now know that we're going to be using disk 1. So we can come back in here and we'll do select. Whoa, there we're having a little trouble there. Select disk 1, and then we can just do clean. What that's going to do is basically wipe the disk entirely, and then we're going to create a partition. So create partition primary. And then we can see the disk is basically ready, but we want to use a specific tool that preps it for writing the data to it and flashing to the SD card. So we're going to close out of the terminal at this point. We've gone through this step where we clean, we create the partition. Now we're going to use the SD memory card formatter from the SD Association. So you can click that link. You're going to scroll down to about right here for Windows, and then scroll down again, click accept, and then we're going to get this downloaded. And what this is basically going to do is it's going to format and ensure that the card has been wiped correctly so that there's no issues when we actually go to flash it. And it's not too big of a file here. We're just going to go into our downloads folder because that's where we installed it. We're going to right click, extract all, just click extract. You're going to have two folders in here, but we're going to go to the WinEN one. And then you can just double click it. And this is actually an application that gets installed. We'll just go through the installation process, super easy. I just use all the defaults. And then we'll launch the program and click yes. And we can close out some of these folders here. And it should automatically detect your SD card. That's the only one I have installed. And if you have multiple, you'll have to make sure you select the right one. We're just going to do a quick format. And you can see it's kind of like disappeared for a second there, but we'll just do a quick format here. Yes, erase everything. And then you'll get that successfully completed. Click OK, and then we can close out of that. And we no longer need that anymore. So we've gone through all the steps. Now we need to flash the image. So by now, or before you went to this tutorial, you probably came from one of these. Install Debian, install Armbian, or install Ubuntu. You should already have that image ready because in the next step, we're going to actually flash that image to the USB drive. But we need this USBImager tool. So go ahead and click that. Scroll down to GDI and click that to download it. And then we'll just click the icon to open it up and we'll extract it just like we did with the other one. This one does not install. It's kind of like a portable. So you can just double click it. It's up to you whether you want to run it anyways. This, as far as I know, is a well-known GitLab repository thing here. So I'm just going to run anyway. And then I'm just going to close out of some of these folders here. And we don't need these links anymore up. And then we'll just click yes. And then it's a pretty simple tool. Up here, the three dots, you're going to click that. And then you're going to go to your downloads and you're going to choose. Shoot, I don't have the image already downloaded. So let me just download it real quick. We go to CM3588 wiki. Then we'll go down to the downloads. Just knock this out real quick. Google Drive, official images, SD to eMMC, because that's what we want. And then we will do, let's see, sort by name. This VM keeps freezing, and I'm not 100% sure why. So we'll do Ubuntu Noble Minimal. I'll just click download. Download anyway. And then we will get that downloading. It should be pretty quick. Luckily, Google's pretty speedy. And we'll just jump back. Oh, yeah, that should be fine. I can just close out of these. And then we'll bring up the USBImager tool and we'll just wait for this to download. And once it's downloaded, now we can select it. And then we're going to select our SD, microSD card. And from here, you just click write. And it's just going to write to the actual microSD card. And once it finishes, you can just, it's going to fail right here. I don't know why this VM keeps freezing, causing issues, but I have it in the guide here. Basically, you're just going to watch the progress go, and then it'll say done, image written successfully, and this one took 16 minutes, so it can take a little while. Just left for that to complete, and then you can throw the SD card into the CM3588, and turn it on. So just return to whatever guide you were on, and you should be able to finish that other guide up. Hopefully this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.